All right, hello everyone, and we are back for another Authors Impact Hub podcast. I'm super excited about this episode today. So, I am your host, Juanita Woodson, founder of the Authors Impact Hub, and today we have on with us one of our admins, Paula Banks. If you are in the Authors Impact Hub, you see her always dropping some major gems in there. You see the amazing work that she's doing with her publishing company, Eion Books, and then all of the kid lit things, right? She is inspiring and motivating a next generation of storytellers. So, Paula, I'm going to let you go ahead and just introduce yourself briefly. Let us know your background.
So I am Paula Banks. I am a children's book author. I look at myself as a creative educator for my Lit Kids Create brand. I am a publisher for children's books. And prior to doing all of this, I didn't really have any, I guess, I wasn't I wasn't an author or a publisher. I worked regular 9 to 5 in corporate America, which I still do. But since I started my journey about a year and a half ago, I have published 4 books, 5 books. I've published 2 books for my Eion Books company, one children's book, and another one is coming out this month in May. I have created a writing program. I am working on my first authority book for parents who have children that are creative or just to nurture their creativity, and it's a guide to help them with that. So I'm excited to see what the journey has next for me.
Yes, absolutely. So, when I first met Paula, right, she came on the scene. She had just had one book out, and then by the end of 2024, you had multiple books out. You had so many amazing things going on, and you were stepping out of your comfort zone. So
Yes.
tell us what inspired you to start your publishing company after only being an author for a year.
Um, I knew that if being an author was one thing, but I'm a self-published author, so I figured like I should create um a brand. So I went and created a publishing company. Um,
Yeah.
it took me a minute to say that it was a publishing company because I was just like, I'm just creating it for my own books. But I started to help my sister-in-law with her first children's book, and I enjoyed the process of
Yeah.
doing publishing, publishing the book, getting the illustrations and everything. So I figured, like, I enjoyed this process, and why not help others who have an idea for children's books get their books into the world? Because people think self-publishing is hard. I'm not going to say it's not, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
So to help others journey through the publishing phase, that's why I started it, and it's new, but I'm excited.
Yes, absolutely. So with taking on additional things, right? So outside of just being able publishing your book, marketing your book, and then now adding on the hat of being a publisher,
Mhm.
right? What did that look like? What did the growth look like for you in the form of investing in the learning you had to do, the time, the money, the expenses, all of those things?
So invest when started doing my publishing, just everything in general. Investing in myself was inevitable.
Yeah.
I won't lie, I was the queen of free 99. I try to get everything, Google, YouTube,
Yeah.
chat, because I didn't have a budget. I didn't have any money extra to put towards anything. But as I started to just follow more people online and see what other people were doing, I knew that these things that I strive to do were not going to be without putting some type of investment in
Yeah.
to my brand. I think the first investment I made was with Ashley Shepard. Last summer, she was doing a challenge for like bulk book orders. Um,
Okay.
one of them, it was like a summer series, and I think one of them I purchased one, and I won a free set, like a free one to attend. But that was my first actual real investment. I think it was like $97 or $47, but I had never up until then had paid anything
Yeah.
for like that for an investment. But I felt like, okay, if I want to if I want to continue to move up on this journey and do other things, I'm going to have to invest.
Absolutely.
And that was my first investment. But I'm always, now I don't mind investing, and things
Yeah.
for myself because you're always learning. You always have to stay on top of things, changes. So I don't mind putting money into to myself and my brand that I know that it's going to move me forward.
Yes, absolutely. And if you put the work in, the things that you are investing in, the tools that they give you, then you're going to see a return on your investment. And so I think that's definitely a part of it. So when you invest in those tools, you invest in the classes, the courses, all the things, what are you doing with the information after
Yeah.
you spend the money? So I think that's something as well. So, when you hear that phrase, authors investing in themselves, what does that mean to you? Because so many authors are afraid to spend a dollar. And listen, I get it. Eggs are $20 right now. Things are expensive, but
Yes.
you have to kind of decide if you're gonna be do this as a hobby, or are you going to treat your authorship like a business?
Yes. And if you're doing it as a hobby, that's fine too. But if you want to, be, have as an author brand or entrepreneur, then you're going to
Yeah.
have to invest. And investing looks like education,
Yes.
taking a course, a writing class, to get better in your writing, um, learning the business side of publishing. That's something that you can invest in as well because a lot of people don't know about publishing.
Yeah.
They think, it's you write the book, you put the book out, but then there's marketing. You have to market the book. That's the biggest part of the game is marketing. You know, things to enhance your brand, a website, gotta have that.
Yes.
These things that when you are an author, you have to invest in certain things for people to take you seriously and for you to look credible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can write a book. Anybody can write a book. That's just a fact. You can write a book. You can put it on Amazon, and you can be fine and be like, "I wrote a book." But if you want to get partnerships, or if you want to expand your brand, if you want to start a podcast, if you want to create a workshop, you have to look credible. People want to feel that they can trust you. And if you don't have a website and you have all these accolades or whatever, but you don't have a simple website, that seems weird to me. You know what I'm saying? That
Right.
it can give
Right.
people a scammy vibe. You know what I mean?
Right.
How credible are you? You have all these accolades or you have all these things, but you don't have a basic website. For me, outside of my author brand, as a consumer, I look at these things. You know what I mean? Like if you have a website, if I can find your website, is your website have one, but does it look scammy? I mean, these are things that people, look for in today's time
Yeah.
because there's so many scams and such things going on. And you don't want to start your author brand out on that foot. You're gonna have to invest to look professional, to be credible, so people will take you seriously and not be like, oh, this is just a hobby for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is
Yeah.
super important that as an author investing, you have to. And even if it's just in the basics, you know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely.
Even if it's just the basics right now and nothing outside of that, there's certain things that you have to invest in as an author, as like I said, to be taken seriously and look credible.
Absolutely. Yeah. And one thing that comes to mind for me, so when I first started out, I'm a hands-on type of girl, right? I like to figure all the things out myself. That's just the way that I am. But then I'll take that information and then I want to share that with someone else so that they can figure it out too. So I think when you are making investments, you're going to either spend time or money.
Yep.
Right? So if you're not willing to pay someone to create these things and to do the things, then you have to be willing to say, I'm going to spend the same amount of time that that person that was going to teach me how to do it, I have to now spend that time to learn how to do it myself. So one thing for me, investing saves me time because I can reach the goal a little bit quicker because there's somebody that went ahead of me and they already have the game plan now. So that's something to think about when we talk about investing too.
Yeah, somebody already has the blueprint. If you can just purchase a course or purchase a
Yeah.
and get and you can skip over that part and you be like, all right, I have it.
Okay.
And then you could just, pivot it to how it needs to go for your brand. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to
Yes.
scratch. Honestly, there's nothing out here that you really have to start from scratch from because somebody's already done it and you just put your own spin on it, your own flair, your own sauce, and
Yeah.
it's yours. But one place I love is Etsy. I love Etsy. Etsy is can get
Yeah.
my
It's
money
a
because
gold
there's
mine.
all these template. There's a template for everything you want. Between Etsy and Canva, there should be no reason why you have to start from scratch to make anything. So I think when people say, I don't have the money to invest, I think they think like thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
You got to start on a small level, a template. That's it. You're investing into your brand. It's $5. Invest into your brand. You know what I'm saying? If it's going to enhance your brand, and I don't care if it's 75 cents or $5 to start. It's you're starting somewhere, but it helps you get the mindset that I have to invest to elevate.
Yes.
Even if it's a small, small investment, pretty soon you'll be able to make a little bigger, more. You know what I'm saying? But you have to change the mindset first. Be like, okay, this is an investment that's going to elevate me and my brand.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for breaking that down. I love that. So why is it critical for indie authors? And, we can talk about traditional, if you go the traditional role, it's a little different, but for indie authors to make intentional investments in their growth.
We have to make intentional investments, again, because it's only us. We don't have a team behind us. We don't have anybody taking care of things for us. So when you're an indie author and you're starting out, you should, one, make sure you have a website. That's one. I know I keep going back to the website, but it's so important to have a website, the author, because you need that space online. You need to have a place, a home base where people can go and learn about you. Outside of your IG page. You never want somebody to say, oh, how can I reach you? Oh, go to my IG page.
Right. Yeah.
No. That's a red flag immediately. So you definitely have to be intentional when you're investing, but a website, definitely want that. You want to be able to eventually have a professional, headshot. You want to look professional. A selfie is cool, but if you want to get to a certain level, you have to invest in those. And I think you should also have an email platform where you use to start an email funnel, at least for a welcome email. So MailerLite or MailChimp or something. Those things are like $10 a month. Sometimes they're even free to start. Right. So those three things as an indie author coming through, you should have those. You should get those right off the bat. And number one, again, website right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? And again, you don't have to pay an astronomical amount of money for a website. You can go to Canva and get a free website with a template, switch out the information and use it. They even give you you can even have a little domain that says, Paula's website. It may say my.canva site, but it's still something, a place where people can go, where they can see about you. And then you can purchase a domain name and then use it on Canva. So you just have to really know how to maneuver. Like if you really want to work on a budget, you can work on a budget and still look professional. And it's just how bad you want it. Again, it all rolls back to mindset, consistency. Is this something that you want to do in the long run, or is this just a hobby? If it's just a hobby, then you treat it like such. You don't need a website. If somebody asks about you, be like, well, just go on Amazon and read my Amazon bio, and that's it. Purchase my book. But most people want to continue on their journey. So you have to make the decision, like, if this is not going to be a hobby, then I need to learn these things. I need to do these things.
So we have to elevate the mindset, like you said. And if you think about it this way, right, some of those initial investments, you only have to do it one time. Yes. You know what I mean? Or maybe on an annual basis. But if you're like, hey, I don't have the money to pay, $100 a month or however much it may be for you to have a website, start small. And then grow from there, right? But you have to be able to, like they call, putting that first seed in the ground. So you have to put the seed in the ground, water that seed so that it can grow. So absolutely. And I think that we can both agree that, like, we're proof. We can show you that we are the evidence of what it looks like when you just put that small seed in the ground. Because honestly, listen, I had to figure out why it was important for me to have a monthly budget as an author, because some of those things that I really wanted to be able to do, I wasn't able to because I didn't set a budget. So it is important, I think, if you can do anything, set a budget. What is my monthly marketing budget going to look like? Include what that expense would look like for you to have a website, to invest maybe in the Canva templates, right? Some of those, once again, it's just a one-time thing.
You get it, and people be like, oh, I don't need a budget because I don't really have a lot of money. If that budget is $20, then you want to spend that $20. How you
And
gonna money?
that's a reason why we need a budget. If we're saying we don't have a lot of money, that is a reason why we should have a budget so that we can start to grow that money.
Yeah.
Right, and to be able to do more things with it. Absolutely. So what areas do you think authors overlook the most when it does come to investing in their careers?
Um, I think I really think like the business side of it, um, the money that go in and out,
Yeah.
keeping track of their income, keeping track of their, what their expenses are. Um, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't do it at first. I was just trying to figure it all out. You know what I'm saying? Like if I sold a book, I was happy. Then there comes a time when you realize, like, okay, I got to figure this out because I want to do X, Y, Z. I need to buy X, Y, Z amount of books. So these things add up. Am I spending too much on, marketing? And I could be using some of that money to purchase more books. I mean, you have to see if you're spending too much money going out and not enough is coming in, which is a lot of times for when you begin, that's what it is. But
Right, right.
you still need to keep an accountable track of how much money goes out and what comes in every month. Even if you don't make anything, you know what I'm saying? Or even if you just break even, at least you have an ongoing report of what you did and didn't do and how far you've come and how you've grown. But there should be something that you are utilizing, even if it's a basic spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I use a spreadsheet. I also have a little program I use, and it just keeps everything. So if I want to know, like, how much did I spend on, at Etsy this month? I can say, okay, you spending too much on Etsy, fall back, and then I know, like, I can't be on Etsy this month. So it just helps you realize where your money is going and how much money is coming in, which is always important.
Yes, absolutely. And listen, I don't want to misquote her because it is such an impactful quote. I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna share it and tag her in it. But we had the Moments for Moms conference in March, and our speaker Tamika Tapp, she talked about budgeting and the finance, and basically she mentioned is that we need to be able to tell our money where to go, right? But we have to know where it's going so that we can tell it where to go. So the last 30 days, I spent my time looking at the subscriptions, things that I'm paying for. Some were just like, I don't need those anymore. I'm not using it. It's not benefiting me. So that's definitely one thing I can recommend for authors to do is take a look at what you're spending money on. And if it's not necessary, it's not serving you any good, you could save that money and invest it back into your author business. So that's definitely something that I would recommend doing, taking a look at what you're spending your money on and how you can pour that back into your business.
Yes. Because I always have sometimes I get free trials and I forget.
Yes.
And then I'll see them in my email and I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna cancel. But that's what they bet on. Companies so I can get that free trial and you spend. Because I might just
forget.
So I had to do that as well last month, just cancel some things that I really enjoyed, but I'm like, you know what, I can use that money in my own business. So, it's just making those hard decisions and what's best for you and your company.
Yes, absolutely. So can you think of an author maybe that you follow or an author that you coach in your publishing company who has benefited from making smart investments?
I'm gonna say my husband. So my husband just, he's about to release his first book. And he is always like, I could just Google, and I said, babe, you can't do that all the time. You have to invest. I said, if this is your first book and you want to write another, which you do, you're gonna have to invest. So I was like, you can take a writing course, you can do those things. And he was like, no, 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 no. So finally I got him he likes to do screenwriting. So
Okay.
he is now a part of a Black Screenwriters Club. And he's getting so much from it. There's weekly, speakers and challenges and tasks, and he gets to network with other, screenwriters. And he loves it, and he was just so adamant about paying $47 a month for it. And I was like, bro, just do it.
Yeah.
And he's gotten so much back. He's able to be in front of people who work in the industry that he's trying to be in. And he really, really appreciates that I pushed him to do that. But I told him you have to invest in yourself. I mean, you would take that $47 a month and play lotto with it, or eat at
Right.
Awa or something, put it to use to help you build up your writing brand and things that you want to do, your goals. So yeah, I was always on him about, investing in himself, especially now that he's on this new journey. And it has paid off tremendously. So I'm gonna go with him. I'm gonna go with hubby.
Yeah. Listen, I love that, and plug the new book too, because he has a new book coming out. Can you share about that?
Eyes of Blood and Betrayal, June 3rd. I'm super excited for him. So yeah, he definitely was not one to think about investing in himself, and I was like, you have to,
You have to.
you got to, bro. I know it times it's hard, but you're not working 2 jobs every day to not invest in your dream and just give to, your employer. We're not doing that.
Absolutely. And think about it, the information that you're learning, you can turn around and you can make income off of that. You can host a workshop. You can, you know what I'm saying? There's so many things that you can do, but you have to invest your time, invest money sometimes, yes, into learning how to elevate yourself. It's so important. And you'll save yourself, you can save maybe a year.
Yes.
Save yourself a year's time of getting on Google and watching the YouTube videos, which I don't knock doing that. And you can connect with someone who's already an expert in that field. They've put together all the videos that you need to make this one thing happen. You just have to go through the training.
Yes.
Save yourself some time.
I'm very busy. As I get older in my years, I will pay for saving time, convenience, and that's what it is. One thing with my oldest son, I have to shout him out because he's a film major. And what he is going to do is invest in his craft. He does not care about the price. He doesn't care about any of that. I have watched him invest in himself. He's 24 and he's a film major, he's a senior, and he will buy the equipment. He will purchase the courses. He does not care because he's like, I know that if I want to learn this and I want to be the best at this, I got to pay for it sometimes. You know what I mean? So he's definitely been an inspiration to me when I second guess, like, should I get this? And I'm like, this. Well, he's on his craft hard. He's always working on it, and he will invest in a second. And I can see what it's doing for him and with his film. So yeah, I just have to shout out my son Elijah, film director. But yeah, he does not hesitate to, because he knows that if he invests and he learns from the experts, he's going to learn what he needs to, so he can take that and elevate his career.
Absolutely. And listen, that's what it's all about. You'll start to see the seeds that you've planted. They will start sprouting. You just have watering it. So absolutely. And so this next question, you kind of touched on it. I think I know the first thing that you're probably going to say, but what are 2 to 3 strategic investments you believe every author should make within their first year?
And I wrote them down too, because I did not want to forget. First thing, website. Off the door. I don't care if it's on Canva. I don't care if it's free. I don't care. You have to have a place where people can go and learn about you.
Yeah.
Outside of your Instagram. Instagram is great, but you don't want to tell someone. Somebody could really want to purchase your book, a school or anything, and they'd be like, "Let me get your website." And you're like, "Oh no, I don't have a website. I have Instagram." Right. You know how that doesn't even look good for you. Right. You know what I mean? You want to come off as professional at all times. You can say, here's my website. Oh, and you can also go to my Instagram. I'm not knocking Instagram, but you can't replace that as your home base online at all, because you want to be able to, sell your own books from there. You want to be able to have people know about you, your events. And that's the only way that's going to happen if you have a place that is yours, that you own on the website outside of social media platforms.
Yes.
Number 2, again, email. I would say grab an email platform, MailerLite, MailChimp, whatever is easiest for you. A lot of them are free until up to a certain amount of subscribers. So you can start building your email list with your customers. Again, social media is only as it is for us. Like, it could go away at any moment. And you want to be able to keep that connection with the people that you come in contact with. And the best way to do that is through email. And you can, email is a great tool. I had to be sold on it. I will never go back. Email is amazing and you build relationships with your subscriber list. They get personal. It's more personal, and that is something that you do not want to wait to the last minute or be late to the party for. And the third thing, I say get a professional headshot. I mean, people will be like, "Oh, that's not that important." At some point, it is important, and you don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on there. I think you had mentioned before to go to J.C. Penney. What's J.C. Penney?
Yes.
Groupon.
Yes.
And get some shots, because if you're gonna do any type of media, they're gonna ask you for a professional headshot. They're gonna say professional. It's not gonna say send me a selfie. Some people will say don't send me a selfie because it's going to be in the media, podcast, article, and you could just reuse these photos over and over again. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, she's on another article and it's the same photo. Who cares? It's professional, right? I use the same photos from my last 2 photo shoots. You're gonna see them all over. And just even if you have that one good one that you love, just keep sending that one as long as it's professional, and that's it. But you need to have those 3 things for people to really take you seriously. You don't want to ever send someone something and then be like, oh, she sent me a selfie. Like that could be a make or break thing for someone. You know what I'm saying? Some people can be that, like, I want it to be professional because you are representing their brand now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, you always have to put your best foot forward when dealing with other companies and collaborations, because you don't want them to have any reason for them to be like, you know what? No, send me a selfie. Or, oh, you have a website? Like, who does that? Or I sent you an email, or I signed up for your email list and I got nothing back. There was no welcome. Nothing. You don't know what people are looking at. So don't give them a reason to say, I don't want to work with her, or I don't want to be a loyal customer. I mean, there's just so many things, but those 3 things I think are a good jump off point when you're starting out.
Yes, absolutely. And they're low maintenance things that you can do, right? You can get on Groupon, type in that you need a professional headshot, right? So some of those things are very important. And then honestly, like, authors put their pictures on the back of the book, right? So think about what you want that to represent. If the book cover is the first thing that people look at, we need to invest in professional headshots, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on it. Start where you are, and then over time you can invest in a brand photo shoot, right? So Groupon with that. You can even get on Facebook, connect with some of your local entrepreneur groups, because you'll see that they're sometimes hosting networking events and they do free headshots
Yes.
at some of those events. So networking definitely is very important investment to make as well. So I think this conversation is one that we can talk about forever, because there's
so many things to invest in. But the first thing, you just have to switch your mindset. That's the main thing. If you feel like this is something you want to try to do continuously, then you have to switch your mindset and be like, you know what, I'm gonna have to invest in myself at some point. And don't look at what everybody else is investing in if you're not on that level, because we get caught up looking at, oh, they're investing in this, so I can't do it now, so I might not do anything. Don't do that, because everybody has their own lane. Everybody has finances are different. So if you can only afford a template that's $3 to $5 or whatever it may be, then that's your start point. Don't worry about Sally over here who can purchase a $500 course. That's what Sally can do, because we don't know where Sally started at. You know what I mean? So don't worry about what everybody else is doing. You start where you at, you build from there. That's it. Because we often get caught up comparing our journey to somebody else's, and we don't know where they've been and how long they've been doing it. We just see a quick glimpse on the internet and then we make assumptions. So I have no problem budgeting and doing what I need to do. I started where I could, and I'm continuously still building. I'm not where I can purchase $1,000 course or $1,000 writing. I'm still just doing what I can, and it's working for me. Slow and steady. That's what I'm doing. I'm not trying to break these pockets. I still got to live. I still got a family, but I know that I'm constantly pouring into my brand what I can, and what I do make, I put back into my brand, and just keep going. And it's working, and that's what you continuously do. You don't have to worry about what everybody else is doing. Do what you can. Start where you are, and just switch that mindset that this little seed I'm planting, this little $2-3 seed, is going to blossom. It could be $25 next time, and just keep going on. That's how you have to think. Stop thinking you have to start investing in yourself at like 500, 600. And I think that's what people think of, like, oh, I can't afford this. Investing is investing. You putting something back into your business to help it grow, that's investing. That's it. If it's $5 or $200, you're starting where you're at.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's sacrificing time, right? If you're like, hey, I don't have the money right now, well, you've got to sacrifice the time. Because like you said, someone may be able to invest the 500 because they sacrificed a couple late nights, figured
Exactly.
it out themselves, starting from scratch. So we have to invest something, right? The Authors Impact Hub, we want to see you make an impact with the books that you are writing, with your author brand, right? But it is going to come from you being able to set some time aside. Definitely set time aside to rest, right? Because you can't pour from an empty cup, but you want to make sure that you are setting some time aside to market your book on social media, right? So whether that's saying, hey, 1 or 2 hours out the week and you split that up over the course of 7 days, I'm going to make sure I'm engaging with my audience. I'm planning out my content. Think about the things that can save you time, because time is also an investment. Think about also going out to different vendor events. You also have to save yourself. When you think about what your budget is, think about how much money you want to make each month. What does that look like? How can you reach that goal, right? And then start to plan around that. So this is a great conversation, sis. We have to make sure we.
You know how I feel about, we got investors. Everybody, people want free stuff, and that's great.
Yeah.
When it's time to pay, you're like, you charging? Yes. Yeah. Yes, we are. We definitely charge.
We had to invest some time into learning what we know to be able to pour back into you. So absolutely.
Exactly. It's everybody's winning. We all winning. I mean, if we invested up front and then we learn, and now we're helping you invest. It's everybody's winning. Nobody's walking away with nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm great that I can come on here and talk to people and other authors and be like, everything is not a bad thing. Yeah. So I just want people's mindset to shift, and I think when the mindset shifts, like it's something that we have to do. I think that it'll be more comfortable doing it, where they don't feel like they have to invest money all the time or a lot of money. They can just give their time. Yes, there's a lot of times I've been up late at night, going to bed late, just do what I needed to do. So it's definitely something that every author needs to really think about.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking this time out and with me. So can you share, how can we connect with you on your website, social media? I know you've got some great things coming up.
Okay, so I'm on social media. It's I have 3. So I have author Paula Banks. That's just my regular author page, and then I have at Lit Kids Create. That is my page where I am helping tap into kids storytelling and helping parents nurture that. And then I have my Eion Books at Eion Books publishing page. That's all things self-publishing for children's book authors. You can reach me at my website at www.eionbooks.com. And I think that's really it. That's where the places I be hanging out at online.
Well, I appreciate you taking this time out. I know that we definitely have some amazing things that we're going to be announcing in the Authors Impact Hub really soon. So make sure that you are connected. The website is www.authorsimpacthub.com. If you have not already joined the Facebook community, definitely join it. But don't just join, show up, engage, make connections. There's so much that you can do within the community. Listen, like, we have partnered on some amazing things, all because we show up consistently and we engage, and there's some amazing things going on. We have some workshops coming up, and what else? Some new podcasts that will be.
There's so many things that's happening, and if you show up and age, you never know what may happen. You may, network with somebody who you guys can collab with, or
Yeah.
having a problem or an issue and you need some advice on it, throw it in the group so we all can help you out and brainstorm together. But you never know until you come out the shadows.
Absolutely. So we want to hear from you. We want to bring you on and interview you as well so we can hear about your author journey. And that's all we have for today. The takeaway is to invest in yourself. So website, email list, and a professional headshot, right? So that's the challenge. We want to see you with those 3 things, and then we can build on that.
Yes, just start slow. Start where you at. Don't look at nobody else's journey. Focus on your own.
That's it. All right. Until next time, take care.
Bye.